What's going on, guys? It's Cam from Driveway Motorsports, and welcome back to some more Gran Turismo 7. This week's daily race was Group 3 cars around Catalunya, the no chicane layout. So I got a couple races here for you today to go over. Some of the worst sportsmanship I've seen in sport mode, particularly recently. We got the first race, which is the worst of it, and then the final race, the bad sportsmanship, comes back. So make sure you watch until the end so you can catch all of that terrible action. Running my old faithful Porsche 911 RSR in this beautiful blue. I really do enjoy this livery, so shout out to whoever made it. And it seemed it was a pretty good choice. Most people were driving either the BRZ or the Huracan. Those were the cars putting down the top times on the leaderboard. But the Porsche was up there as well. It's pretty competitive, and it's a car I'm very used to, so that's why I decided to drive. So yeah, guys, not to waste any more time, let's get into these races. If you could drop a subscription and a like for me, it would be highly appreciated. And drop me a comment down below to let me know some of the craziest sportsmanship moments you've ever seen on this game. So I'm gonna get into the racing, and I will see you guys at the end of the video. Alrighty, guys, coming into race number 1 here around Catalunya. In the Porsche RSR, as I had said before, we are behind 2 Lamborghinis, qualifying in P5 for this one. Pay close attention to this gentleman in third, the American, Mr. Dan 07. He is going to be the problem child for this race, causing just way too much drama. So we're going down here, hurtling into turn 1, and immediately chaos is going to begin to ensue as Mr. Dan decides, I'm going to punt this car off the track. Don't really feel like racing him anymore. Let's just get him out of the way. So obviously we can tell we're going to have an issue here with this guy. And I had seen some people talking in the chat before the race as well, talking about how dirty this guy drove. So you can't see it on here, but he did end up with a 5-second penalty after that little move he just pulled there. And a little bit later on in this lap, that is going to become very important. So come down here into the hairpin, really low speed corner, coming out in either first or second gear, depending on what kind of line you get on the apex. Once again, right behind the green Ferrari up in front, Mr. Ryder, who seems to have some pretty solid pace, obviously qualified in front of me, so it's going to be kind of a tall task to catch up with these guys. It's coming into the sweeping right, bit of a tricky corner, really easy to get a track limits penalty going too far to the outside. And you can see here, as he serves his penalty, just before he goes ghost, he slams on the brakes, causing me to go into the back of the Lamborghini. And then on the next corner, I get punted off the track once again. And you can see him, he even tried to, look at what this guy is doing, man. Causing the poor green Lamborghini to straight up quit the race. So this guy is a big issue, and he is going to have to be taken care of. Unfortunately, we are not going to see him for the rest of the race, but at least that means he is no longer our problem. Fast forwarding here a little bit into the first corner, we have the red Ferrari, who was right on our ass that previous moment, is going to get a nice little undercut on the inside line. But we're going to get the exit speed on him here. Going to try and chase him down, really stay on his bumper to get that little bit of slipstream we need on this very short straight into the other kind of longer hairpin. Playing good defense here. He's really doing a good job keeping me behind him. It was pretty tough to pass this guy, but eventually we are going to get up in front of him on that one. Coming down into the next hairpin, he is going to try and come back with another move, but he's not going to quite be close enough, so we are in the clear here to start moving our way through this sweeping little section of corners. Bit of a tricky section as well, braking just before the curb and really trying to grab that apex. If you hit the gas a little bit too much on that green part of the track, though, you will be sideways immediately. This corner as well, a little bit tricky. It's all about getting the timing right on both the lift and the throttle. Only a very slight amount of brake needed, if any. And then into this next hairpin, braking just before the 100 board on that little post that you see. And the Ferrari does spin us here, unfortunately. However, this guy is a very good sportsman, waits there for me to get that position back, so no worries there. Not too mad about that. You know, the respect was shown, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. So we are going to claim that position back with the Brazilian and the Lamborghini down behind us, but we've got a good amount of air to work with here. Nice clean air and not really any pressure from behind. You can see Mr. Carlos in front on, I believe, the Mercedes goes very wide, so we pick up another position. We are back up into P10. Coming through the middle of lap 3, you can see the cars just in front, both P7 through 9. It's two Porsches and I believe a GTR if I remember correctly, and they're quite a bit ahead, but they are within eyesight. And with 2.5 laps to go, we definitely have a chance of catching up with them here. We just got to be nice and consistent, let them battle in front of us, and use that to our advantage to gain up some lost time. Coming in here about halfway, a little more than halfway through lap number 4, we have started to gain some time on these guys in front. You can see they're really battling up there. We have one get a little bit of a moment, go super wide. I'm going to use that to kind of go around the outside of him, see what I can do. Hopefully we can hold this position. And just like that, that was a pretty easy one, kind of just handed up. But we are up into P9. Next, focusing on the red Porsche in front. Really trying to stay on his bumper. We gained a lot of time on him through this corner. He had really late brakes. Short shifting into second, that can be really handy. I found short shifting when you're kind of need a little bit more rotation out of the car, but you don't want to give up the speed by lifting or braking, which obviously braking will not give you more rotation, but just short shifting a little bit, keeping the revs down does seem to help with that. So if you're not quite sure if you're going to clear it, usually just a little short shift will make sure that you do. So coming out of the final corner, we got a really good run on the Canadian here. We're going to move to the outside a little early. He is going to move back to the outside as well. You can hear those tires really struggling for grip there. But we are going to continue to be behind him, trying to put some pressure on him to make him make a mistake. He keeps hitting the brakes through this corner, which is not the way to do it. It is a pretty awkward corner, though, to figure out, really kind of based on feeling. Not a lot of good braking markers or anything like that. Poked our nose a little bit on the inside there, just to once again let them know, hey, we're behind you and we are coming to overtake you here. We only have one final lap to do it as well. Getting a really good late apex on here. He took the early apex, might have been playing a little bit defensive. That is going to give us a bit of a run on him into this next little sector. Getting really close, pulling right up alongside him now out of that corner. Merely making sure I give him the space. Might have lost a little bit of speed because of it, but a lot better than causing an incident. And this guy really was on the brakes a lot. Having a big moment there, allowing me to pull alongside him. He does force me very close to the edge. And so I'm going to brake a little bit later than I normally would here to try and bait him into braking late, which he takes that, and we go right up the inside for a nice, easy overtake into P8. Coming through the final sector here, another pretty awkward corner. A lot of the corners on this track are really awkward. You can see the GTR definitely felt the same. So we're going to get another position handed to us up into P7 to round out the race, which, considering everything that happened, coming back within 2 positions of my qualifying, not too bad. Pretty much the best we could have done there with what we were given. Alrighty guys, so coming into race number 2 now, we are starting out on pole position. However, if you take a look at the car behind us, that is an insanely fast car in a straight line. So I know in my head now, there is no chance I'm going to be able to keep this guy from getting at least alongside me before the first corner. So I'm gonna do what I can here. I know he's coming up. You can see him. He's just flying up on me. So I'm not going to fight him too hard here. I'm just going to kind of let him go by, stay to the left-hand side, just kind of give him the position there, because I know there's going to be another really good chance to overtake, and I'm sure it'll come up pretty quickly, because while that car is really good in a straight line, that is about what it's best for. So in second now behind him, the other American with the Brazilians behind, coming up here into that kind of minor little hairpin. You see he runs super wide, as do I though, to be fair. Just not taking a really good line, but still gaining some time on him here. And then now down into that real hairpin. He goes really, really wide. Go right up the inside, look for it. Can't quite get alongside him, and the top speed of that car is going to keep him in front of me for now. But we're going to keep on chasing him, trying to pick a better line. He goes super wide there, and we just sweep right up the inside. No issues at all. Back up into P1. Coming down to the hairpin, once again braking right at the post just before the 100 board. He is going to come right back alongside me here, and I am going to get pushed wide by quite a few cars to the side of me. So unfortunately we're going to drop down into 4th here, up behind the Genesis Coupe, as well as an R8 now in front to the Brazilians. So we're just going to have to shake that off and do what we can to catch back up with him. Already gaining time on the Genesis here, right up on his bumper of him and the, I believe it's a Bugatti, I'm not 100% sure, the Citrogen. And Jenny is just absolutely bonking people all over the place, shoves that car right off the track. So we are now up into P3, but definitely a lot of carnage going on here. And the other Brazilian now is just behind us, trying to capitalize on all this carnage going on up here. So going down into turn 1, once again, braking right at that black box just before the 100 board. Trailing off to the inside. The Ferrari's going to go really deep and just push his way by us here. We're going to get a much better exit on the corner there. A little bit of contact. He didn't really stay on his line, pushed me super wide. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to make do with what we have. So back into the sweeping hairpin-esque corner. Hugging the inside, trying to get on that power nice and early as soon as we can, trying to catch back up with this Ferrari. And you can see he's going really shallow here on this hairpin, where he really should be going after that late apex, but doesn't seem to actually have lost him too much time on this one. So we're going to have to find some other opportunities to gain some time. And we're going to find one right here as he goes pretty slow through that first left, and it really compromises his exit. Does not want to let me go by him. A little bit of contact as I touch the rear of him. But yeah, he's just going super wide here once again. I'm going to use that opportunity to try and get around him, but it just ran out of space. Should have gone to the right side, and I didn't. So we're going to see if we can make the old switcheroo work here on the hairpin, but going just a little bit too deep, and even with that slide he had on the exit, still not able to get by him. But there's still plenty of time. It's only lap 2, so try not to get too stressed this early in the race. There's still plenty of time to make a comeback here and make something happen. Beginning of lap 3, you can see the slipstream has picked us up a lot of speed going into corner 1, so we're going to go to the outside, just take our normal racing line, have to leave him the space on the inside because he is there, but once again, we're going to get a pretty good run out of this corner in comparison. But unfortunately, I'm lifting off the gas here just a bit too early. It's kind of compromising my line. I can't get back on the power as early as I'd like, but still going to have a better run out of there than he does. Going to pull right up along his left rear tire, right alongside him for this long hairpin, trying to pin it around the outside, getting back on the power. Get nudged wide just a little bit here, but we now have the inside line for the hairpin, which honestly is not the greatest because you get that, once again, that early apex, and he is just going to kind of bundle us out of his way there. So once again, we're going to have to try and get back up there with him. Immediately doing so, closing that gap immediately, very, very quickly. We are right on his bumper again now. Once again, looking for the outside. He just squeezes it. He says, no, sir, we are not going to let that happen today. But once again, I'm going to go for this move on the hairpin, trying to get up his inside. But he's going to park it right there on the apex. I'm going to receive another push from behind, this time by the Corvette. So now we have the Corvette and the Renault, sponsored by Weed Maps, in front of us. Racing sponsors are getting pretty crazy nowadays. Try and get back up alongside him, but I just am not able to. And I'm gonna have to be back down into P6 now and try and fight our way back up. Getting a really good run on the Renault here, going on to the final straight, but still gonna be stuck behind him as we all come hurtling down the straight for the 4th time. Going right around the outside of the Renault into corner 1, leaving him the space, really hugging the left side, and I am going to be able to just about squeeze right in front of him. A bit of contact there, as is per usual in these races, but we are going to get ahead of him and hold that lead. He's just behind now, so we do have pressure from him still, but main focus is on this Corvette, trying to get right up on him. He brakes really early. I give him just a little bit of a love tap back off there. Make sure I don't end his race or anything of that nature. But here we go, about side by side into the hairpin. And he's just going to kind of move right in front of me and slam on the brakes again. And I'm going to push him a little wide, and he just kind of stops on the side of the track. So kept going, wasn't sure if I was at fault there. And with all the carnage, I was just kind of sick of it. So back up into P4 here, chasing down that Ferrari once again. We only have just over a lap to catch back up with this guy. We're going to immediately make some gains here, get a little bit of time, caught back up on that sweeping right hand, and back into the hairpin for the 4th time. Once again, braking just before the 100 board. Down to first gear, trying to get that apex, hitting the gas as soon as possible without spinning. He's going to touch the grass there, go quite wide. The compromises run just a little bit. Short shifting into second to regain traction, and once again, just chasing him, trying our best to stay behind him as long as we can. big moment there as I just touched the sand on the outside. Managed to save it, but we do end up with a half-second penalty. And that could be the decider of the podium here. If we just have to get by him, we're going to have to open up that gap, because with that penalty, it's going to be really, really tough to make this work. He does have a bit of a compromised line through the first section of corners there, so we're going to get right back on his bumper once again. And once again, I'm going to go really deep here, just letting off the gas way too late and not getting the rotation that I need out of the car, and not being able to get as much power down as early as I need to be. Still, though, on this corner, going to get right back onto the back of him. It seemed to be some corners he had the pace on me, but I feel like a lot of these corners I was able to pretty much close that gap back up immediately. Once again, he goes to that early apex. I take the late apex, pulling up right beside him here. We're going to go side by side into the left-hander. I am going to just stay in front here, but I'm going to touch my wheels on the outside, get a little bit of oversteer, and there was no saving that. I went straight into the side of him. And that one was entirely on me, so I'm going to stay here. I'm going to wait for him to go before rejoining the track. We're going to rejoin in 9th. However, this BRZ is going to come back by us. We have just lost absolutely all of our speed, so that puts us down into P10. Not really much chance here. Maybe the chance of one more position, and we're going to do our best here to get back up into 8th now that the Corvette has quit braking a little early for that apex, because I was not used to going into it at that low of a speed. But still, we're going to try and gain on this BRZ. Last 3 corners, getting a nice late apex, getting on the power as early as I can, gaining a lot of time on him here. So once again, through the second to last corner, gaining even more time. It's all going to come down to who gets a better run out of this corner. And I am going to have the run on him here. Can I get alongside him? He's going to say, no, sir, cut me off completely, and that is going to be a P9 finish. Bit of an unfortunate race, especially starting from pole position and with all the chaos going on, but we did the best that we could, and I guess at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these kind of scuffed, chaotic races. Obviously, they're not the best finishes in terms of position, but still some good entertaining stuff nonetheless. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, everything like that. Stay up to date and stay notified for when the next video comes out.